Last lesson was adding and subtracting polynomials, so this lesson we will be multiplying polynomials. I'm going to show you, three different ways in which we can do that. So our first way, up at the top, and I was a little bit surprised to hear that a lot of people had not heard of the FOIL method. So FOIL stands for first, if I can draw it, I'm going to zoom in, see if it'll stay here. Let's see, so first, outside, sorry about my writing, inside, last. So first, outside, inside, last. So first would be 5x times negative 2x, which would be negative 10x squared. Outside is 5x times negative 3, which is negative 15x. Inside, 9 times negative 2x, or negative 18x. Last, 9 times negative 3, negative 27. And at this point, we just combine like terms, those two right there. So it's going to end up being negative 10x squared minus 33x minus 27 as our final answer. So we did first, outside, inside, last. So now we're going to have the same problem, but now we're going to do it by distribution. And in distribution, we rewrite the problem by splitting up the first polynomial and multiplying it by the next polynomial, one term at a time. So we're going to split up 5x and 9. So I'm going to write it as 5x, and then 5x is going to be multiplied by negative 2x minus 3. And then I'm going to add 9 and multiply it by negative 2x minus 3. So 5 times 2x is negative 10x squared. And 5x times negative 3 is negative 15x. And then when we do 9 times 2x, negative 2x, we get negative 18x. And 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. And you can see the same thing happens. We combine like terms. We'll end up with negative 10x squared minus 33x minus 27. So we get the exact same answer, but with a slightly different method. Our final way is called vertical method. You set up a multiplication problem like normal, but in this case the longer number is always on the bottom if there is one. If not, you just leave them in order. You multiply the bottom far right monomial by everything on the top, moving from right to left. Multiply the next monomial on the bottom by everything on the top, moving from right to left. You repeat that process until you've completed all monomials on the bottom, combine like terms, and rewrite in correct order. So, if you remember when you first learned to multiply, like 12 times 15, you did 2 times 5 and got 10, carried the 1, 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3, drop a 0, 1 times 5, 1 times 1, and you add it up, you got 180. This is done the same way. So I have 5x plus 9 times negative 2x minus 3. And I want to put these, I want to line them up so you can see how I lined them up. So I'm going to do, first I'm going to do negative 3 times 9. That gives me negative 27. Then I'm going to do negative 3 times 5x. That's going to give me negative 15x. Then I'm going to drop a 0 just like normal. Then I'm going to do negative 2x times negative 9. It's going to give me negative 18x. I'm going to line it up. And then I'm going to do negative 2x times negative 5x. I'm going to get negative 10x squared. And then I'm just going to add everything up. Negative 10x squared minus 33x minus 27. And voila, we get the same answer for all three problems, doing them in different ways. So on the homework that we have, there's a few from each way, but after that, you can decide how you want to do it. As long as it doesn't say you have to do it this one way or the other, you can do whatever way you want. So let's flip it over. We have a couple examples while I get it set up. Okay. And then, so we have a couple examples. We have y plus 3 times y minus 2 is the first example. And so I always like to do FOIL, just because that's how I did it when I was a kid, so I'm going to do FOIL. So I'm going to do first y times y. That's going to give me, well, let's get this in. Y times y, y squared. Outside, y times negative 2, negative 2y. Inside, 3 and y, plus 3y. And last, 3 times negative 2, which is negative 6. I'm going to combine my like terms here. I'm going to get y squared plus y minus 6. Easy peasy. Alright. Number 2, you can see it's 3a squared b times negative ab squared. So each is just a monomial. So when you're multiplying these type of terms with multiple variables in them and constants, you multiply constant by constant. So the 3 by the negative, sign, so that's a negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. A squared times a is a cubed, and remember we always list a before b, and then b times b squared is b cubed. And so there you have it, negative 3 a cubed b cubed, and that's just distribution. When it's a monomial times a monomial, just multiply them. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Alright, number 3. This is a binomial times a trinomial. So I'm going to do this one by distribution, because you can't use FOIL because that has to only be a binomial times a binomial. I should have said that earlier. But FOIL method is only binomial times binomial. So we will do distribution, and we'll start out with x times, and inside will be 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. And then we'll have minus 5 times the same thing, 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. So when we distribute the x through, we get 3x to the third minus 4x squared plus x. And remember, your when you multiply variables together, you always add the exponents. add the exponents. And then when we do the 5, negative 5 times 3x is negative 15x squared. Negative 5 times negative 4x is plus 20x. And then negative 5 times 1 is just negative 5. And so we combine like terms, the x squareds and the x's. So we have 3x to the third minus 19x squared plus 21x minus 5. So that one has 4 terms. Now, the last one, we have 4a minus 1, the quantity squared. Many people will mess this up. This is just 4a minus 1 times 4a minus 1. Rewrite it out because people mess it up all the time. I'm going to use FOIL again. First, 4a times 4a, 16a squared. Outside, 4a times negative 1, negative 4. Inside, negative 1 times 4a minus 4a. And last, what color? Black. Okay. Negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1. And so our overall answer, after we combine like terms, 16a squared minus 8a plus 1. It is not 16a squared plus 1. So if we don't write it out and we just think, oh, I square each term inside, that will leave you with the wrong answer because you'll miss the whole inside term. And that is multiplication.